literally, right from the word go, he named me X, my brother in magic S. Sorry, start again. Named me X, my brother in magic U, his name's Steve, but U. One of the other guys begin with S, and the other guy begin with E, yeah, which made sense. And it made sense that my brother in magic was a U because of there was 2 S's, yeah. But it weren't because of that. Okay, so when everyone gone, he was still U, and the reason his name's U, it was short for Yuhain, which means death prayer. And there's a magical significance to that comes later, yeah. And X, but why X? I didn't know why X. Yeah, why was it called X? And later on, it developed into X was short for Excalibur, which is sword of power. Okay, which had a lot to do with our magical formula. Together, we were twins now, and we'd done a magical ritual later on, and was reborn, killed our old selves in a magical ritual, spiritual ritual, and was reborn again as X and U, sons of Koset, Zoltans. And Steve was on, who's now you, was the sun, and I was of the moon. And the sun and moon has got a massive, it's a massive formula. It's to do with the positive polarization of the masculine and feminine. It's to do with yin and yang. It's to do with everything, yeah? It's this very powerful secret formula. And that was why we were being called it. It was being taught about this formula throughout the times. So we was given names and told this and told that. And it's all coming together, and a picture, the jigsaw puzzle was being built, kind of thing. And so was the power and ability to make things happen, to will things to happen, to make things to happen. So the board went on and taught us this stuff. And at one point I got a book. I was really keen to know why my name was X. And all through my life, I've gone through ordeals, all through my life, and difficulties. I've had to fight for everything. And my spirit has been hanging by a thread all the time, yeah, because, and this was just early days, there's so much more to come yet, you know, but like the battles that I was going through was making me stronger, like that song, yeah, don't kill you, only makes you stronger. Yeah. That's fucking true, really true. And if I was boxing and didn't take all them drugs and didn't get involved in all this shit, I'd probably done so much better as a boxer, yeah, but there's so many, I weren't destined for that.
Too many setbacks.
Too many things going on. I wanted to know why I'm X. Why is my name X? You know, and why is his name U? We found out Yuhain, and that's for something else. Now, one of the a lot of the books that we were told to read and study from and learn was from Aleister Crowley, okay, Crowleyan sort of stuff, and that was the Law of Thelema, which is Greek for Thelema agape, yeah, which is Greek for love unto will, okay, and that's based on the principles of being able to will things. Magic is the science art of creating change to occur by will.
Can I just ask you there, Paul, when you say magic, what do you mean by magic?
Okay, so not the Paul Daniels type magic,
yeah,
not that type of magic. Magic as a craft, as an art, yeah. You could bring in alchemy to it, if you like. Alchemy, like the alchemists used to try and turn base metals into gold, yeah. It's all a smother. Alchemy, what we used to talk about, is the uniting of opposites, and it's done in the cauldron of the mind, yeah, which is magical secrets, but that's kind of, anyone who's involved in that will be able to relate to what I'm talking about, yeah, and I'm not here to give that kind of stuff away, kind of thing, yeah. Not, you have to go through a lot of shit to learn it, put it that way, and I went through a lot of shit to learn it, and it is magical secrets. And the Aleister Crowley side of it was the books that the spirit was telling us to read from and learn. And we're getting quite good about this now. We're getting quite good in this now. We're getting educated. And we're kind of, when you learn something about something and then something else is introduced, you kind of know that it's part of it. You know the route you're going.
Yeah.
You kind of can pull it together more of the jigsaw puzzle. So I wanted to know why I was called X. And I come on this book, and it's called the Book of Law. Okay, and the Book of Law was dictated to Aleister Crowley. It wasn't 1914, like I said in the last podcast. The date was 1904. And 1904 was a very important evening. It was the evening of the change of the equinox of the gods, as far as Egyptian mythology is concerned. Yeah, the god Horus takes reign. Yeah? So in 1904, the god Horus took the throne. So what that means is the Egyptian mythology kind of talks of an aeon, 2,000 years. and that 2,000 years period is ruled by a particular deity at the time. That time, 1904, is the deity of the god Horus. Horus is the Egyptian god of war and revenge. It's also hermaphrodite, masculine and feminine. Okay, so what that would mean in humanity, as far as humanity is concerned, that you would see the traits of that god start coming in the minds of humanity. For example, you could say it's part of the reason there's so many gay, lesbian and homosexuals around, you know, and it's because of the inner change going on in the spirit. The god is now hermaphrodite.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long story. Yeah, there's a lot more involved in that. Yeah, but just trying to keep snippets on that kind of thing. Otherwise, I'm going to lose track of where I am again, like I have already now. Okay, so he got me to look up on these books. Okay, and Aleister Crowley wrote this book on the eve of 1904, and it was dictated to him by an intelligence. He can't really explain what the intelligence is, other than his holy guardian angel. That's what this is what he said it is. Okay, and this is what NIP was to us. Okay, but become more evident as time went on just how much it really was exactly the same, and it made sense why it was telling us to understudy Aleister Crowleyan work, follow that stuff, because that was educational and teaching us the concepts of what it was about. Does that make sense? And this is very deep, very hard. It's very hard to explain in terms that people can understand as well. Yeah. So so this angel's dictated this book to him, and the book talks about times to come. Yeah. And these times have passed. Like what's written in that book, when it was dictated and written, things have actually taken place. Some of the concepts what he's talking about. And he says to me, okay, and he says, there will be ordeals. Remember I said I had ordeals? He said, there will be ordeals, but the winner of the ordeal shall be X. That's it. The winner of the ordeals shall be X. And as Crowley asked the angel, what is this? He said, thou shalt know. It will come in time, the future, when he won't be around. Thou shalt not know, because it will come in times when he's not around, yeah? And that, to me, that was like, was that me? Oh, yeah. Can't be me, surely. It probably ain't me, but it just made sense that I've had so many ordeals. I follow the line of study that we're following, and I'm told to go and get these books, and I get that book, and that's my answer why I'm called X. It's telling me it is me. Okay? Yeah, whatever. I don't know if it is or not, I don't know. So, moving on quickly now, because this is really going to gobble up some time, this kind of thing, yeah? We all of a sudden start becoming magicians. And not Paul Daniels magicians like Aleister Crowley, yeah? And we start studying all sorts of things in the occult. Kabbalah. I don't know if you've heard of Kabbalah.
No, what is
Kabbalah, Tree of Life. Kabbalah is like, there's 5 different forms of Kabbalah. The literal meaning of Kabbalah are the Tree of Life form of the Kabbalah is what I used to follow. And the Tree of Life is like a map, a hieroglyphic map of the universe, and everything is contained within this map, including the tarot or the Tara, and all forms of divination. You could put everything, religion, everything works with this communicative divination tool. Yeah, it's amazing what you can gain out of that, and that was something I was really versed in, the Kabbalah. Higher forms of mathematics like Tamura Gematria, which is and transpositioning of alphabets. These were formulas that you would use to ascertain natures of certain people or things, and spells, consequently spells. And this will be all conjured up and put in a cauldron of the mind. Lots of practices went on. We was really serious about it, and it was also fun as well, because like we had the ability to will cards. Yeah, and we'd go around to people's houses and do tarot cards for people, and birds would invite us around. We'd meet the mums.
To get a little reading off you before
you
leave.
Yeah. And we'd go around to people's houses, and we'd do like a little show, you know, do tarot cards from palm readings. We could tune into people. We had this ability to tell people what they're thinking, yeah, tell them where they're going and how things are going to happen in their life. It was just, you know, it's just like unreal. And that was the fun times, okay? And our reputation in the area grew like that. So not only was Steve and me, we weren't Steve and Paul anymore, we was X and U, sons of Kosick, Zoltans, magicians.
So did this side that you've stumbled on now sort of make you come out of the crime side, or was you still involved in that as well?
Well, I ain't got to that yet, have I? It's like, so that's me as a magician. A magician can do whatever he wills. Yeah? So whatever I will be. So if people upset us, we can hex them and curse them. We don't have to hit no more. We can make things happen. We can, if you, back in them days, because I don't do this anymore, yeah, I've matured to a spiritual level where I don't need to do that stuff anymore, yeah. I don't want to be involved in it because it does bite you back on the arse, okay. But back in them days, if someone upsets us or does one of us or one of our, because we built a magical order, there was quite a lot of us involved in this in the end.
Right.
Not just me and him, there was a lot of us, and we introduced them to the board, to NIP, and we administrated them power to do tarot readings and to use the power of the wheel as well. It's a weapon if you want, you know. It's if you're versed in it, you can use it. If someone upset us or any of the order, then something bad will happen to that person, and it did, you know. And with the queens in the order, like we called them queens instead of witches. They were queens. They weren't witches. They were queens, and they had their own designated cards, as did some of the blokes that were in the order. And we would know what they was doing all the time, because just supposing you had a card, say your card was the 5 of diamonds, yeah? And I was always on my cards. And the 5 of diamonds fell out. I'd get my list who the 5 of diamonds was, if I couldn't remember who it was. Oh, it's Lee, yeah? Is he all right? Queen of spades. Oh, what do you mean? He's untrustworthy, what's he up to? Then I'd do a reading on you and it'd tell me, and then you'd come round, I'd go, Steve knows, I've always spoke to Steve about it, and we go, what have you been up to today, Lee? Yeah, you've done this, you've misused the magic. It was like that, yeah, really, yeah. And I kind of, I was like in a false there, if you like, because I kind of put it all together in a business-like fashion, and with the guidance of the spirit, and designated cards for this, and then I started to work out that, hold on a minute, so many of us are getting the untrustworthy card, yeah, because it's human fucking nature,
yeah,
you know, to misuse, abuse power. And then I had to realise that there was, and then the spirit net was teaching me to organise it better, and the saying come out was, fuck the preacher, let experience be your teacher. That was the saying that the cards, they both come up to us, yeah. So we had to follow what it meant by that, and what it meant was this, yeah. You can't teach these people to run straight. Let experience teach them. Just guide them, yeah. And I was the biggest culprit of misusing the fucking magic. You know, yeah, I was the, and I kind of, it was like I was trying to delude it, telling myself, no, I'm not doing it wrong. I'm fucking X. I can do what I fucking want. But I weren't, you know, I was doing wrong really, but allowed to because I was head of the order.
What sort of examples can you give us of say you're doing wrong?
Okay, willing money to come my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Willing a woman to like want to get with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So abusing
my power, kind of thing, yeah. And I kind of, we needed money, kind of thing, yeah. And I could make things happen. Opportunities come our way through that. So I was kind of half allowed to do it, if you get what I mean. Well, maybe yes or no. But anyway, anyone else that weren't was rendered straight away Queen of Spades, ipso facto, members of the left-hand path of our order. Now our order was split into two. We had dark side and the light side. Queen of Hearts or Queen of Spades. Yeah. So subject to how you were, what path you were. But you were able to come back off the dark path, back onto the good path, if you... Do you see what I'm saying? And it was amazing because it was like a way of keeping people on the straight and narrow. Yeah. Yeah, because I know what fuck-ups I made along the way, and like if I can make them up, they can. And, you know, a lot of it was to do with silly stuff like boyfriends and things like that for some of the girls, making blokes they could probably never ever pull, they were pulling, you know, and they were just being drawn to them and things like that. But, you know, it goes a lot deeper than that. So in answer to your question a minute ago, was I still getting involved in criminal activity? Yeah. Yeah, I was. But people who were involved in that world knew about me and the magic. They knew what was going on. And they're serious people. They weren't necessarily involved in the magic, but they knew it. And they accepted it, or they weren't in my life, kind of thing, yeah? And a lot of them utilise that, my ability to predict what's going to happen. And many times I'd get a phone call of a dealer or someone who was saying, Paul, I've got this going on, is it safe? Or, can I trust them? And can he trust them? Yes or no? Yeah, he can. And on that shout, they would trust it.
So really, you're giving out advice to the criminals to what's safe, what's not, and
it was like, you know, and like, I mean, I can't really talk about my criminal activity then, because it involves people that I've seen on your podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't talk about that.
I know, we spoke about it, yeah, keep it.
But even people like that have would acknowledge what I was doing. And I don't know what their take really was. Did they think, he's off his fucking head, but like blah blah blah. But they still worked with me, you know, and it still went on. But it wasn't rosy all the time, you know, because and one important thing I need to say as well, the board knew about my problems, and this is in the early days of the board. Once everyone had gone, you sit on a board, you've asked everything you can, and then you're talking about constructive stuff, etc., but you're still there waiting to hear something else, yeah, and you're half asleep, and then you might think something, and the ball will go, well, you wake up, and you both look at each other, and what are you thinking? Why did the ball go? You're thinking something. What, you know? It was never like leaving us alone. It was unifying us all the time, yeah. And I kept thinking about. I wanted to ask it, what's wrong with me? Because I didn't know it was panic attacks. I still thought I was going mad. Why do I keep getting these fucking... Well, I didn't know what they were at the time, but it was anxiety and, you know, freaking for no reason at all. And it'd come in waves in the stages. I couldn't work out why. What the fuck is wrong with me? Do you know what's wrong with me? And every time I'd think these things, it'd come to me. And then I didn't want to talk to my brother in magic about what was going on in my mind. I didn't want him to know this.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah? You know, it's personal, isn't it? Dave's actually asking him, is there something wrong with X? Yeah, and it was. Okay, I get a little bit emotional here, mate, because this was a real turning point for me in my life back then, yeah? And it's still means a lot to me, but it's like, it probably won't mean anything to you guys or anyone else, but it went X, spelled out, got a problem. What's the matter, Paul? Like, what's the matter, X? So he never used to call me Paul anymore, it's always X. Even today, when I see him, he go, oh, X. And he went, what's the problem? And I said, nothing, I'm all right. And the ball went out, and then it went X. And it spelled out, all your life you will victory. Sorry, he went, my name no longer Nip. My name is Vic. Vic. My Vic. He went X. All your life you will victory. Why stop now? Oh, I couldn't understand what he was talking about. So we're talking about communicating. And what it was saying, I'd allowed life to get to me.
Yeah.
Yeah? And it was like, in that time in prison, it got too much for me. And it was like, I allowed it to get to me, that my spirit was dying. Does that make sense? Yeah? And it was now telling me, it's changed its name. It's no longer Nip. His name is Vic. Now it's going to teach me all about victory and what it takes to have victory. And over the next few months, it was all about me, teaching me to regain my spiritual strength and arm me with strength that gives me victory. Yeah, and that was an amazing turnaround for me, because for the first time in a couple of years by then, I now had some idea what the fuck was going wrong with me. Yeah, but I still didn't know it was panic attacks then, because panic attacks, if you put too much pressure on someone, or if someone dies in your life that you love and you're grief and you can't deal with that grief, that's pressure. That can ignite a panic attack. And panic attacks is a fight or flight adrenaline thing, okay? So, winding forward, Victory is a spiritual virtue, okay, and a necessity in life. Yeah, you need to understand what victory is all about, especially in the spiritual realm. And so, this spirit Nip was allocated a position on the board, as on the star of the board, which is the same as the one I have tattooed on my chest. I don't know if you can see that. There's the Eye of Horus.
Like the 5
Eye of Horus here. You've got the 5-pointed star there, and you've got segments in the 5-star, and you've got Sut, Nip, Lu, Pa, X, and U. They're the powers that constitute the power of Khosit, or the order of Khosit. This is what our order was based on. And Vic was victory, and Nip was the communicator, if you like. It dealt with the divination side. Vic was the education of victory and magical power. Yeah, Pa was of the moon. Yeah, so that was to do with the moon magic, and Sut was to do with the sun magic. Yeah, the formula of masculine, feminine. Yeah, and there was another one which was Lu. Okay, which is Lucifer. Okay, and that deals with the dark side, if you like. And Lucifer's card was the King of Spades. Cannot challenge a superior power. You cannot challenge a superior power, and that was Lu's card. And when we would have adversary with other people, other rivals or things like that out in the street, or anyone that was against us, we'd evoke Lucifer, and Lucifer would take care of them. If that makes sense. But I don't want to go into it, because anyone who's listening right now is thinking that geezer's off his fucking head, mate. I know it's unbelievable, this stuff, but there's a lot of people that know about who know it's real, you know.
So really, obviously, my sort of knowledge before today of Ouija boards was don't go near them because it's all bad stuff. But what you're telling me is you used it as a power for knowledge and to
yeah.
So it's not necessarily.
I didn't say it weren't bad though.
Right. Okay.
I didn't say it weren't bad. Okay.
Right.
And you was right to think that, because it can be very bad. It's dangerous, very dangerous.
Right.
And like, I'm not saying that the path I was on was joyous all the time, because it weren't, and it's very sad at times as well. But you've got to understand. You've got to understand where my head is. Even now, you've got to understand where my head is. When you are involved in something like that, which is real, it's all right if it's a game and it's not real. You know, games are games. You can play them and put them away. But when it's real and it's with you, you wake up the next day and it's still with you, and things are happening all around you, it's actually fucking real. The crime is, like I said before to Liam when he done the podcast, that's not really me anymore, the crime, yeah? The spiritual side of it is me now, kind of thing, yeah? And I'll come on a long journey. I don't go on a walk board anymore. I don't do tarot cards anymore. Don't have to do it anymore. I've learned. I've matured, and I understand more about things than I did back then. But this was a learning period, a learning curve. My drug addiction was also getting stronger and stronger. I'd use cocaine to help me study for hours and hours on end, and it ruined relationships. And you know, a lot of time that I should have dedicated to my children, I was not dedicating the time I should have done, because I was too engrossed with this spiritual study.
Sort of taking your mind off what you should have been doing.
I was on something proper, but like I was also on this and learning something massively. And like we'd integrate our households. I got a personal queen, and she had 2 of my kids. My brother in magic had a personal queen, and she had 1 of his kids. Yeah. And they would come round, and the girls would be okay together, and we'd teach them about magic, but we'd sit in the office and we would do our occult studies, and we'd be on the board, and we'd do tarot reading after tarot reading, book after book after book, and trying to understand. You know, I won't waste time in life if I don't think there's something there. Yeah. I'm not stupid. I was stupid to do that, maybe, but like I was on a path. I was learning. But I'm not stupid. I can, if I'm wasting time because it's bullshit, I'm not going to waste time with bullshit. But if I'm seeing results and actually getting somewhere, diligently, I'm going to research it until I've mastered it. And that's what we were like. And we mastered it. We got really good at what we were doing. And our idea of where we were going in life started to change. The crime, for example, I needed money. Okay, what do I want to do to earn money? Oh, I'm going to run the doors. I'm going to run a load of doors. Okay, Nip, I wanna start running the doors. Okay. Within a week or two, a friend of mine, Ibby, you know what, mate? Ibby rings me up and says, Paul, a friend of mine's got needs some doormen down Bexley Heath. Do you want to go and do it? I went, yeah, all right, sweet. I started working down the door, which I ended up taking over the door. Yeah, not because I pushed the other guys out, because things happened. You know, I wanted to run the door. Yeah, things happened with the management and the people who were running the door, and they didn't want to run the door no more. Management turned to me and said, "Do I want to take it over?" I did. Yeah, that's just the kind of stuff I'm talking where I'm misusing the magic.
Gotcha, yeah.
To make things sway my way. And it used to be the helping hand of fortune card would come out all the fucking time. Jupiter had a lot to play with me, yeah. And I called on Jupiter many, many times. And Jupiter would be, when I say Jupiter, it's like a planet, but there's a significance in Jupiter to do with fortune. It's a provider of fortune, good fortune. I said, get all my own mates down there working on the doors, and the management knew about the magic. You know, Wendy, that actually was the manager at the time, had a spirit in her house and asked me if I could come get rid of it. So I went and exorcised the spirit, and she never heard no more from the spirit. She was being tormented by a knocking, and a bad smell and presence kept coming there, etc., etc.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. And we'd always be doing card readings down. You'd see me in one corner with 3 or 4 birds around us reading palms while we're working on the fucking door. You know what I mean? And that's how we were, kind of things. Yeah. But like, hold on, darling, we've got to go and throw someone out and chin someone and get them out or whatever. And it was always kicking off down there as well when I took it over. But after a while, we got pace down there. We had a presence. I mean, you got to understand with the magic, it's about learning to will things, yeah, make things happen, manifest things, and it's very synonymous to the art of cause and effect, yeah. It's very similar to it, yeah, but in a different sense. So, moving right on now, that went on for years. Built a little empire up. It was helping my criminal life up, money everywhere, having a good time, and then what happens when you got loads of money? You kind of turn debauchery, lust, drugs. Yeah, you start fucking. Well, I did. Yeah, it starts getting to you. Psychic battle. I was meant to be fighting for a British title on Alan Mortlock's show at that time. Got another Southern Era coming up first. Weren't focused on nothing. Taking more and more cocaine to get rid of the guilt. Taking 1,000 Viagra's up to my mate Huey. And along the way, a car turned in, crashed into me, knocked me off the bike, nearly lost my leg in hospital. You know, I think I mentioned about that in the podcast with Liam. And I found myself in hospital, going to lose my leg. They're going to cut my leg off. Depression come in, psychic battle, paranoia come in. I thought that the spirit world was attacking me. So I started studying darker forms of magic, and I attempted the Goetic ritual, Abraham Melton Serpent's ritual, Goetic spirits, where you evoke 72 spirits, and these spirits, 72 spirits, each rule legions of spirits. Yeah, so it's like if you had a glass of water, and the water is your soul, your spirit, your being. When you evoke a entity or something, it occupies a bit of that water. Yeah, so a bit of you is being occupied by the presence of that being. Now that being, the more you do it, the more it becomes then. Well, after 6 months of doing this, after I'd had my accident, and remember I wasn't training no more, so I was in a very bad way mentally. I wasn't strong as I used to be, and I was vulnerable. And these spirits took advantage of that, and they would put images in my head to take more coke and study more, and we put together some new form of divination with all the stuff I learned and knew, with additional information they was teaching me through my card readings. And I was locked away in a house that I was renting out in Mottingham at the time with my ex and my children, and she was just carrying on with her normal life, and I was just hermit. I was a hermit in the room studying and invoking these demons again and again and again. And it come to a point where I didn't know who I was anymore. All I could feel was this bulking of a spiritual influence coming from another strange quarter, and making me jumpy and think about. I could sense that something terrible was going to go on, kind of thing. That kind of fear factor, yeah. I got in such a state that I was asked my cards, "Is this happening? Is that happening?" Get a yes or no answer, kind of thing, yeah. When I was nutted out, made on cocaine, this was the damn part of the cocaine. At this point, I'm in such a stage that I'm really fucking losing it. I'd be going. Asking, I'll be like that in my cards, yes, and getting yes or no answer. My mind is thinking, you know, I don't know if you ever had cocaine, but if you had, you know, anyone who has know that your mind races, yeah? And my thoughts are racing so quick, asking questions, my hands are trying to keep up with the yes and no answers. And I'll be there all night asking questions, and these demons are telling me this and telling me that, and what is this going to happen? I'd lost it, I was fucking gone, kind of thing, yeah? And so I need to invoke this spirit now, and it's telling me to invoke that spirit now through this new divination thing tool that it taught me to that I'd created. That's it. Nothing to do with magic no more. But then hold on a minute, I'd been involved in that for 15 years. That was my confidence, my strength, my power, my whole existence, and now I'm not having nothing to do with it. You can see what I'm getting at, can't you?
Yeah. So basically, it's going to take away everything you're living for,
Everything
really.
I am.
And then you got nothing to focus on.
No, and the panic attacks were still evident. Yeah, they're coming back now, and my strength is going, and I'm hearing things in my fucking head. Now that could have been cocaine psychosis. It could have been. Yeah, I don't know. But you're walking down the road, and I'm driving down the road, okay, and there's a woman crossing the road or a man crossing the road, and I'd get killer, run her over, and I'd like, whoa. And I know that there's such a thing as intrusive thoughts. There's a term called intrusive thoughts where people do get fear and phobias that are going to kill their children or kill someone or do something like that. Yeah. So there is that kind of hearing that from an EFT specialist kind of helped the situation, kind of thing. Yeah. But I was fucking losing it big time. And I was thinking, well, I can't go to the church. How can I go to the fucking church? How can I turn around to God?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And in the early days of the magic, I desecrated churches and things. And his name, it's just fucking so disrespectful, you know? Just so, but it was the path I thought I was meant to be on. I was kind of feeling suicidal, you know, I couldn't deal with, I just wanted to get this fucking mayhem out of my head. It was complete fucking chaos in there. And I'd moved to Dartford, and it was so fortunate I moved to Dartford. I didn't know anyone around there.
Yeah.
I mean, no one in my immediate vicinity, and no one in my family knew this was going on. None of my friends really knew this was going on. So I had to get out of the house that I was renting because I had no more money. So I made a decision, went to Cocaine Anonymous, and they was talking about God there, and I couldn't tell them that I was doing this and doing that, but I was listening. And I remember driving back to the place in Dartford at one point, and it was then that I got down on my knees and I said, God, either take my life or save me, please. I can't take no more. I'd had enough, crying my eyes out, just like that. Please, God, please. If there's a God there, either kill me or take this addiction away, take this madness away, kind of thing, yeah? And that was on the 16th of March, 2006, and I haven't touched a drug since.
Oh, okay.
Powerful, mate. But obviously, you don't, stop then and everything's all right. There's a lot of damage done in here, and then my whole life was damaged. And so I had to get out of the house, and a mate of mine said to me, my mate's got a skunk factory down in Cholton. You can go and stay there. And obviously, they've got free security, haven't they?
Yeah.
He don't know what I'm going. No one knew what I was going through. Really, no one but me and Cosit. Well, in fact, Cosit had left me at that point. I need to say that weren't my angel anymore. The moment I started going on to the dark side, see on the tree of life, Holy Kabbalah, you've got the sixth Sephiroth, which is center. That's the highest point of human consciousness, and that's where you interact with your angel from 10. It's a long story, yeah. Okay, now 9 is kind of where the moon is situated in the symbolic form of it, yeah? And 10 is Malkuth, which is Earth, yeah? We're in Malkuth, if you like, and the other planes are the spiritual planes that you can travel up to in meditation, etc., to do your communication. Below that are the 7 hells, yeah? I was in one of them fucking hells, Well, my angel can't go that low. Right. So the communication links broke. And the demonic influences latch onto it. And then they pretend they're it.
Gotcha.
So that's what was guiding me all that time, kind of thing, yeah? And so anyway, so I go to this, I take my dog Badder and we go to this skunk factory, which is like a 3-bedroom house in Cholton. It's got skunk growing here, skunk growing there, a baby room here, etc, etc. Kitchen's free, 1 bedroom's free, downstairs, toilet's free, okay? Can use the kitchen, use the bedroom, use the the bathroom, and use the downstairs toilet. Everything else is out of bounds because obviously people are coming in from different time, doing their things. 2 weeks in this bedroom, listening to Phantom of the Opera, Cry My Eyes Out. I'm having my detox. Yeah, remember I've prayed, and now I need to go and change and get, you know, where I am. I remember being there all the time in there. All I could hear was and like this shit going on in the background in my head, which is all demonic shit. And I was like crying and just like trying to blank it out all the time. And there was this like ball of energy, dark ball of energy at the side of the room, and I didn't want to look at it because I knew there was something there and it was frightening me, but I didn't want to go out there. And then in the end you get accustomed to it being there, and you're like, oh, fuck you, I don't care, you know, I'm not, you know. And then it go and then it come back again, you think it's gone, and was it a dream? And then it's back again the next day, and then you hear the hee in the back of your head and fucking right, proper shit, mate. Yeah, I know, it's frightening stuff, yeah. And then I remember going down the stairs to get the water in the night. And as I come down the stairs, you've got like this rails go around like that. So as you walk down the stairs, the rails are there. I see myself hanging there. And I'm so accustomed to seeing and hearing shit. I looked at it and was like I wouldn't be surprised that I was going to see myself fucking hanging. It was like that kind of thing. Went down, got my water, come back, I weren't there no more. And I was just imagining it. I thought, I don't know. Back up the stairs, spoke to one of my mates who got me into that place and told him what I experienced. He went, Paul, he said, oh, I'm not joking, mate. You know the reason that house is empty? I said, no, some geese from up north, one of his mates, come to stay with a cokehead, hung himself right there. Oh, fuck. I know, yeah. But like, from what I was accustomed to and used to, I wouldn't put past anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2 weeks later, I'm getting cleaner now. My mind's getting clearer. And I thought, right, I need to box again. I'm still limping from my motorbike accident, remember? My mind's completely fucked up. I need to go in and box again. That's because all I know is that boxing was my discipline. That could get me back out. So I went and contacted one of my friends who was having a show and said, can I fight in the show? And he got me a fight. So 3 months passed and I'm boxing in the ring again.
Blimey.
At heavyweight. Okay.
But I suppose that gives you a different thing to focus on.
Different focus, yeah. But the demonic shit's still there. The mental state ain't right. I got myself fit enough to do 5 rounds. It was appalling in my eyes, but it looked okay. It was a game of chess. It wasn't really a war. It was more of a martial artist game of chess when we fought. He was a Thai boxer, 6 foot odd, heavyweight, and I was short, fat, cokehead, recovered addict, or trying to recover. Yeah. Then I went working down on the doors again, and working down on the doors, I was a different man. It was not the same last time I was working down the doors. But working on the doors, I was kind of imitating my old self, yeah? And but the more the time was going, and the more training I was doing, the more healthy I was getting, the more confidence was coming back. And then there'd be times when I had to throw people out or chin people, and it was coming back again. And then, but this element of God helped me get off my addiction. That won't leave me alone either, because I still needed help, spiritual help. And I needed a girlfriend too, because I hadn't had a girlfriend for a year or so. And there was a woman come in there called Jessie, lovely looking girl, wearing a St. Christopher. She just come off of the street and come in, started looking around there and started smiling at me. And I thought, I'm in here. And maybe God's given me her. Yeah, and I started talking to her, and she chatted me into coming to the church on Sunday. I went and met her on that church, and when I got there, she introduced me to all the leaders of the church. And then she said to me, and this is my fiance. Yeah, she wasn't interested in me that way, yeah. So that stopped me going to the church, because I thought I was just going there thinking, you know, Paul.
Yeah.
But God didn't leave it there, okay. 4 months later, my daughter rang me and said, Daddy, she was young then, it was like 12, 13, 14, whatever. I'm going to a place called Baseline, Dad. Can you take me up there? It's at a church in Brum. I said, yeah, of course I can, darling. Not knowing it's the same fucking church. Turn up at this Baseline and meet the same people there.
Blimey.
It was opening my eyes again. I come back and I started going to the church, okay? And then I started listening to what they had to say to me. And then I started telling them about my life and I took it serious, yeah? And then I started feeling good when I was going to the church. Then every Sunday I'd go there and pray and they'd speak in tongues around me and I would cry nearly every Sunday. And the Jesus vibe that was there was getting to me. And then I started going up and giving my time to go and help them paint people's houses who couldn't afford to do it themselves. Take food from houses, from their cupboards in the church to houses, go and deliver it, you know, things like that. And I felt good about that.
So you've really sort of swapped your life around completely from where it was.
Yeah, and then I gave my life to Christ. I became a born-again Christian. And then all hell attacked me. All hell come on me then. It was like, how dare you? Yeah, that's how it seemed. I'm making it sound like that, but that's exactly how it felt. You know, I am now becoming a born-again Christian. I got in an altercation that could have took my life, yeah, with a naughty little firm, down to working on the doors, yeah. It's like something was telling me, you can't work on the doors no more, okay? And that got me, the altercation, yeah, took a right hiding, yeah. I've never taken an hiding, yeah, but I took a right hiding, naughty little firm. They done me a favour actually, because they got me out of the fucking game. Got me out of something I could have got back into, which would have been, probably took my life, yeah?
Yeah.
So I thank them for that, really. I got caught in a drug conspiracy, okay? Because I was still dabbling in drugs, selling drugs, getting units for people, and being an enforcer. You know, I was getting back into the drug game again.
Yeah.
Enforcing for a little firm, and I collecting money for people. And as soon as I was a born again Christian, within weeks this has all happened. And then I was facing a massive prison sentence, which in the end I got 8.5 years for.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I still hung on to the church. I still went to church and still believed in the church, etc., etc. And like I say, it's like I hold the flag high for whatever side I'm on, yeah, because I'm loyal. And when I went to prison, it was very hard for me in prison to be a Christian when so many people knew me another way. And I remember going, before I went to the prison, praying to God, because I used to pray to God all the time then. And I prayed to Jesus, I said, Jesus, like, please, when I get to the prison, let there be someone there who can help me get through the prison somehow. And this was when I got nicked. I got nicked 4 times, and 4 times I prayed to get bail. And 4 times I got fucking bail, mate. Oh. And on this particular time I didn't get bail, I was staying there because they got more evidence on us. It looked like they was going to put me away there and then. And I was on the way to the jail, I was going, please let there be someone there to help me out, God, yeah. And when I got there, there's some guy called Bill on the when you come into the reception. He said to he liked me for some reason. He was doing 18 for armed robbery. I didn't even know him, but he pretended he knew me to one of the screws. And he said, Gov, that's one of my cousins from the street. Can we get him on C-Wing? Because C-Wing's his wing. It's the working wing. It's a good fucking wing. Yeah, and that's why he wanted to get me on there. He didn't want me on one of the others where it'd been hardship for me, yeah?
Yeah.
Anyway, they got me on there, and on the cell that I'd gone in the C-Wing, the guy that was in the cell with the guy that I went in with had just been caught with a mobile phone a couple of days before. So it's like God had put him off the wing, lost his privilege, so that room was available for me. And this is the mad thing. Remember, I asked Jesus to help me out, okay? They put me in with a guy who was hot plate number 1, yeah? His name was Raffaele Cadrelli, Italian mafia, okay? He was waiting for deportation to face murder charges for a rocket launcher or something. I mean, this is all real. Yeah. Raffaele Cadrelli, fucking lovely geezer, yeah? Well, he's Italian, so what are Italians? Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do I see when I see in his cell? Jesus Christ, pictures, crosses, from one side of the room all the way around the fucking cell. It was like Jesus was going, you asked me, I'm here. Yeah? And that was fucking, at the time, that was like, wow. blow me away. But it goes on more then, because like the guy that had been moved from the cell so I could go in there, C wing was a working wing, yeah. You only go on that wing if you've got a job, a good job in the prison, and you've earned that right. I had no right to be there, but I'd got in there because of that geezer Bill. Thank you, Bill. And there was a sign on the door like this paper, and it was hanging down there like that. And I stuck it back up. I didn't even look at it. I didn't even know what that paper was. But the next day, someone said, "What's that doing on the floor?" Like it'd fallen on the floor again, and some guy was putting it up again, and he looked in through the flap. It was on a Sunday, and I looked at it. It was a priest. And looked in the flap. We said, "Where's so and so?" And I said, "Oh no, he's been shipped out." He said, "Oh no," and I could see he was the priest. I went, "But I'm a born again Christian." He said, "Are you?" He said, "Do you want the job as the gym orderly, the chaplain gym orderly?"
Oh really?
Because that's what the geezer was before.
Ah right.
It's like he was, and he'd obviously
really
fucked things up and been fucked off. God had gone, "Well, you ain't doing it right," and made way for me. But let's just say that the church played a big role in my life. But then also there was a point in the prison term that I started realising that church ain't right for me. And then the old pattern started showing itself. But what I'd done, because I'd ascertained balance again, and the church had prayed out, when I was in that church, they had prayed out demonic spirits for me, and I was speaking in tongues, and I'd create myself a balance. I'd come back up onto the 6th point of the tree of life, to where I was able to comprehend my angel again, and my angel could talk to me again, and my angel was trying to communicate with me again in the prison, and it did. And that's when I started to realise the church weren't for me, and then I went back to my angel, and that's where things started to change and get better, you know. But I'm going to move it forward, because a lot of that stuff's in my book, yeah, and there's too much to talk about it now.
Yeah, Paul.
So where I am now, yeah.
I was going to say to you, obviously, you don't want to give away your whole book.
That's probably 10 pages. It is.
So can I just ask where your life's going now? What's up and coming for you, and what does the future hold?
Okay. So my viewpoint on the spiritual world, by the way, is not God, it's not the devil, it's the universe, it is the whole, yeah? But that's another story. Okay, where I am now, I'm grafting hard like my friend Tony. That's why I said he's my mentor earlier on, yeah?
Yeah.
Because he made me realise, you know, that's where peace is. That's the hardship, that's trying to, and I've earned great money out of that. I'm doing well on that and my landscaping and groundwork ability. But something's always been missing at the back of my mind, yeah? That point of, what if I'd have trained? What if I didn't take drugs? I could have been a contender or something, you know? Please, universe, if only I could have, if only I could, like, but I'm too old now, I'm 56. How could I go and fight again? Well, I'm now fighting again. For a title, it's a title, but like...
It's a title fight.
It's a title fight, yeah. It's a commemorative title fight, yeah?
Yeah.
It's for commemorative of the years of old school unlicensed fighting. Whether I'll be fighting again for it or defending it, I don't know, yeah? And I'm fighting Darren Cover, who I fought 31 years ago. And he's been fighting up until 2019, so he's good. He's had a lot more experience than me now after all these years.
So you've had a break and he hasn't.
And he hasn't, yeah. But it's a chance, and I've trained my fucking bollocks off. You know, my addiction's over. I haven't touched anything since 2006. My head, my panic attacks are gone. My head is more clear and strong now than I've ever have been in my life. And I have wisdom, you know, I have compassion, I have wisdom, I have understanding. I have a lot to give now, and I'm balanced, you know. And the journey that I had, like I say, is in my book. That stuff's in my book.
What's it going to be called, Paul?
The Harder They Fall.
The Harder They Fall?
The Harder They Fall.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah. But now I have this fight coming up. I've met a girl, I met her a couple of years ago, and she's like an angel, an earth angel. She's amazing, Stephanie. You see her out there earlier. And yeah, things are good, and I'm really excited about where this is going, because this wasn't, all this podcast and stuff, never done it before, you know. I've got a story to tell. I've got experiences to tell, and I know people, some people out there are going to want it, not everyone. Some people will be like, oh, fuck, what a load of bollocks. you know, some people are going to think that. And so good luck, Joe, and I'm not going to put it in their heads. You ain't got to read the book, you know.
Paul, can I just ask you a little bit about your fight preparation and your prediction on the fight?
Pain. My prediction for the fight, pain. Yeah. No, it's going to be a good fight. It really is. Darren's no mug. I'm not taking him as a mug. I'm no mug either. He's going to hope that I'm going to be unfit like I was when I fought him last time. I ain't unfit, mate. I've lost 3 stone. I train every day. I live, sleep, eat shit boxing right now, and that's the way you got to do it if you want to win. Yeah. Who knows who's going to win? I'm going to give him my best I could ever give anyone right now at this time of my life. 56. I sparred a lot of youngsters, and I'm doing good against them. So, and they're good fighters. Some of these have been.
I think, as I understand as well, Roy's going to be following the fight for you on the day.
Yeah, that'd be good as well.
When you walk in and you're intro and you build up, we'll be there for you, mate.
Yeah, it's exciting, mate. Well, I mean, what an opportunity, really. And I want to thank Darren Coville, because he's making the opportunity come true. I want to thank Alan Mortlock as well, because he obviously believes that this is something that a lot of people want to see. And do you know what? My tickets went like that straight away. Yeah. Lots of people want to see this fight. So, it's going to be a good evening.
It's going to be good all round, mate.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be excellent. We might have to do 3 parts. So
yeah, and I'm sorry if I've gone on in places.
No, it's all interesting new stuff, mate. We love it.
And a lot of the stuff is like the dates and times I've not got them right, but my book, it's all written in a book. Yeah. And I wrote it when I was in prison, and I've got this woman that's said she's going to do it for me. She's a journalist. So she will pull it out and refine it how it's meant to go, so it'll be more coherent,
We're putting the head out.
It was interesting for me. I wasn't expecting that side to come out in his podcast. I was a little bit lost for words and questions on it. But
sure, if you don't know it, you ain't.
Yeah, no, but it's been really enjoyable, Paul. We're starting to wind it up. Yeah. Thank you ever so much
thanks
for coming.
For your time as well. It's been nice to share something.
Is there anywhere people can find you if they want to check out on you, or websites, social media?
Liquid Bullet.
Just follow us on Liquid Bullet. There you go, you got it from the man.
Yeah. You got it from the horse's mouth.
Lovely.
Good luck
Thank you, Paul.
Cheers.
Thank you.
See you there, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.